Hey guys, hope everything is going well. I wanted to touch base on, let me get my mic situated here. I wanted to touch base on my favorite chart for markets that I follow. I follow mainly the gold and silver market. Been following it intensely for the past decade. Recently, I've gotten into sports cards as early as 2018 or back into sports cards. And now I wanted to touch base on Bitcoin as well. And I've touched base on this on my sports card channel, but the reality is that a lot of people got annoyed of me doing it on my sports card channel. They said like, "What's your proof? How do you know?" And this and that. I mean, this is just basic economics, right? And just me learning the hard way in terms of price action in these markets, right? It's through failure that I've learned this, not through success. And that's the flat out truth. And I wanted to show you JC Peretz. Now, he's a technical trader that I followed for quite some time. I saw him in Chicago, must have been 2018, winter of 2018. He was doing a presentation. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. And I am just looking through his article, and it says things are getting real. He's talking about gold and silver, and he said interesting fact that I like. But you know what gold's investors seem to like even more? Falling real rates. Here's a look at the 10-year real yields overlaid with the price of gold. So it's 10-year tips, I believe that he's looking at, but it's sticking it and flipping it around. Two things to keep in mind. The real yield is calculated by subtracting the expected rate of inflation from the nominal yield. And the purpose of this chart, real yields are flipped upside down to move in line with gold. Okay, so he just inverted that chart just so he could show a relationship. And I enlarged it on this screen over here so you could have a better view. And you could see that the price of gold, not every day, but the overall trend, it lines up with the 10-year tips. And that is if the 10-year yield, if the 10-year tips goes from positive to negative, that's bullish for gold. And I think I'll show you this, or I'll show you this chart over here. So you see earlier this year, this is like when geopolitical stuff was going on, right? 10-year tips was negative, negative 0.93. And then you've seen a correction in that. You've seen a correction in other markets as well. Bitcoin, you've seen sports cards. And once you saw this topping out pattern in the 10-year tips, 1.6, that's when you started to see gold go back to the upside. Now, I understand this week may be volatile in terms of gold. You may see a correction. You may see the dollar index go higher. You may see the stock market go lower. I'm looking at some Elliott Wave guys, but I'm looking at from a longer term perspective. I'm not looking from a technical trading aspect. You know, I have some hedges with the dollar potentially just rallying up this week because of the Fed, and then maybe the CPI numbers come in the opposite way and bonds sell off. But I expect after all this noise is pricing in all this, negative news, I believe we're going to be going up to the upside, specifically with gold, specifically with the stock market. Not investment advice, just me thinking out loud, specifically with Bitcoin, right? I'll re-show you this 5-year, 10-year tips yield from Alhambra Partners, where Jeff Snyder used to work. And this is a good yield. I mean, it just shows you that Bitcoin and 5-year dips tend to go in line, right? So, yeah, I just wanted to discuss this, and I'll just show you once again here. So in terms of sports cards as well, you've seen the high end battered, right? If you go here, if from earlier this year to this year, right? Or to where we are right now. A lot of people were coming after me saying, "You're negative this, negative that." I'm like, dude, I eyeball the Federal Reserve a lot closely than most of you that are watching. And the attacks started to come, you're negative this. No, it has nothing to do with negativity. If you look at the content on sports cards, now it's suddenly shifted because they ignored this macro, not evidence, but data showing that, hey, interest rates are not good. Higher interest rates are not good in this environment for sports cards, just like it wasn't for Bitcoin, right? The things that popped the most, by the way, during the past year were the assets that just went crazy during the pandemic. That was Bitcoin, and that was also the not gold and silver, but sports cards. So Bitcoin and sports cards, those got leveled. Right now, we're at a level where, okay, now I'm not going to be aggressively putting money into sports cards. I've told you my situation on my other channel, but at the same time, I'm just looking at it as an opportunity for Bitcoin, specifically some stocks that have been hammered 80, 90%, and also some of these gold silver miners, right? Specifically like a Franco Nevada, because Franco Nevada does the streaming, right? They're the ones that provide the financing. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then the GDX, I'm looking at WPM, Wheaton Precious Metals. I may look at SIL as well, but there's opportunities, in my opinion, right? There probably will be a pullback based on how much fear there is in the market. We didn't get the PPI numbers going down, so the market, reacted to the downside. So I think the same thing's going to happen with the CPI release. But I'm positioned. Suppose CPI numbers come in much better than expected, right? Then the market's going to shoot up, in my opinion. So I have some hedges, but at the same time, I'm looking from a longer term perspective, like thinking, okay, even though I think, okay, based on the price action on Friday, the market's going to most likely go down this week. I don't care. Long term, what is the thing, right? Long term, the trend is, in my opinion, the real rates. You're going to have positive tips yields where we're right now. It's going to go back negative. So it is what it is, guys. Just wanted to give you my 2 cents on this topic. I decided to put in my finance channel because a lot of people get really testy when I post it on my sports card channel. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to talk about gold. I'm going to talk about crypto, and I'm going to talk about sports cards. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and comment down below, guys. Thank you. Bye.